call the meeting, the Board of Appeals to order. And the secretary, please record the roll. And I don't believe we have any minutes after our first meeting to approve. So well, let's skip right into the regular agenda. And that is the applicant, Mr. Ralph Krebs, is appealing the building official's decision on applying for a variance to add onto an existing non-conforming use property located at 1444 South Main. And you're already at the podium. Give us your names and all the particulars here.
Ralph Krebs.
Ralph?
And
Lucy Doolam.
Lucy?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Thanks for coming. Go ahead and give us your version of what's happening.
Okay, we got, anyway, I bought this lot. It's probably been 20 years ago. And older shop build. It was like a shop building. Anyway, I guess it's been about 7 years ago I added onto the back side of it. One reason was it was facing, the west side was facing into the wind. And on a windy day, that building would shake a little bit. So I was like, well, what should I do? So I added on to it, put like a lean-to on it, just on the back side of it. And I heard, well, I didn't know if I needed a permit, or I didn't realize I needed a permit. And that's kind of where that stands now, I guess. So anyway, I don't know what else to say right at this point.
It's all enclosed. It's like a garage. It's all enclosed. It's got a garage door on it, and it's butted up against the
original structure.
You know, nobody can see it from the road at all. It's right behind. You actually have to walk way to the back of the lot in order to see this building back there. So it's not like it's out in the view, and it's.
I guess I believe that you guys think it's non-compliance because there's no house there. Well, there's never has been one on that lot. This original building, I believe, was put up in the early 60s.
Okay. Blaine, do you want to give us a little background on the city's?
I was able to talk with Ralph and Lucy in person also originally. And I was in Mr. Schwindt's office when we discussed some of these things. But the original building, yes, was permitted. It is on file. That was in 65. I didn't write it down. I did look it up. As far as non-conforming structure being added onto, and it's written in the code, and now that we took over the county, things come to light with us, so that's where we're at. It's came to light because that was never a permitted addition, and under the code, argument of non-conforming uses, which you gentlemen all have in front of you, a building or structure housing a lawful non-conforming use may not be added to or another. So that's our stand on it. Your interpretation or decision on it is in your hands.
Sean?
Just a couple questions, I guess. So it's already there. It was built. So are you guys telling him he has to tear it down? Is that the stance that we're taking? Or is our decision whether he has to tear this off or he can keep it? Or did he ask for a permit? I wasn't real sure by Mr. Schwindt's letter whether he was asking for a permit for that structure. And he said no because it's non-conforming and we can't issue that.
That's exactly what our stance was, is that we can't issue a permit because it's on a non-conforming, it's a structure that was added on to a non-conforming use, even though the original was permitted.
According to our
So
code,
this
we
was,
can't
this
issue
was
a.
caught, and we were gonna issue a permit to bring it, make it right. But because it's not conforming, that couldn't be issued, and that's why we're here.
That's correct.
Okay.
Why is it not conforming? What is there about it that it's not?
Because there's no primary structure on the property. So a non-conforming use is a building that was put up without a primary structure, a residential structure. So that determines it non-conforming use.
Even though it's permitted, it was not conforming.
And at the time, exactly, so codes change as all things do. So,
Did you look at the structure?
I haven't walked up to the structure, but I'm aware of it. I took some photographs when I was out at the property a month and a half ago or whatever, so I knew it was there. And then when you do an aerial like you have on your packet here, you can see the addition on the backside.
You don't know if there's any concerns with the construction
I
of
do
it,
not,
or-
and we were unable to, and I believe Mr. Krebs and Lucy Doolin were unable to have a documentation on it or an engineered print because it was put on, am I correct, by yourself, with others? So,
Mr.
Trevor?
Krebs,
Oh, go ahead, Pat.
does this have a foundation, 4-foot foundation under it?
No, it's just post and pier type. It's got the four by four that go down
Okay.
beyond the frost line there, and the cement,
Thank you.
post and pier type.
Similar construction to the primary shop. That's probably what your main shop's built, is similar. Post and piers, that got a concrete.
That's concrete, that's.
Foundation.
Yep, it's, I think it was a footing slab, they call it, that's backing. I don't know
So
what,
it doesn't have a frost protection on
I
it at all?
don't know. You'd have to look at that building back when it was built, I guess, I don't know.
Is this building heated?
No, it's basic cold storage.
Trevor, you had a, go, Trevor?
Blaine, I actually have a question. On the letter we got, it said, the building department recommends combining the lots to have a primary structure, and then the applicant apply for a variance. What other lot are we talking about here with a primary structure on it?
well, the intent was to put a primary structure on the lot south of that, but I believe that was abandoned at this point in
At this
time.
point, we abandoned it.
So they would have had to combine the lots in order for that to work.
Okay.
So that's where that came in.
So this is the lot
Yeah.
here.
So they were gonna put a house there,
Right.
combine the lots so it was all conforming.
Then it would be all conforming to, it would be compliant because then they would have a primary structure to allow the building that's existing that was permitted. And
Was there a primary structure on that other lot? Because there's cement there that looks like there was a structure there.
At one time there was, I believe. That was before I bought that other lot. Not on this original, not on this lot. I don't believe there was ever a house there.
Okay.
That I know of.
I have another question. I don't know if you have the answer to this. If it was combined, even if the primary structure is no longer there, but there was a primary structure on the second lot, would the other building be non-conforming still? Because technically it would be one lot that had a residential structure on it, even though it's no longer there.
according to the current codes, no, it would not be, still would not make it conforming because there's no primary structure there now. Does that clarify that? I mean, it's vague, but if they combine the lots and were saying that there was originally a structure, but that structure no longer is standing, so it's still not in compliance. You need a primary structure to allow a secondary or outbuilding structure. That's, my interpretations aren't as clear as the building officials. I'm still new at this game.
Okay.
I have a question. It says the existing building was non-conforming. Well, was it back in the 60s non-conforming then, when it was built?
That I'm not sure of. As of now, it's non-conforming.
As of now?
So, like I had mentioned earlier, codes change as everything else does, but I can't clarify that for sure.
So, yeah, the difference between an old house and a new house.
Okay. Did I interrupt a question over on this end, Sean?
Not for me.
Okay. Other comments? Do you have any comment?
Mr. Chairman, just for procedural matters, your decision today, the determination that you have to make is whether or not the applicant can apply for a variance. So that is the question that you would have to decide, and then procedurally, they would come back and actually apply for the variance. It's a little confusing, but the decision that was made is that the applicant cannot even apply for a variance. So that is what you're here to decide. They can or they can't, affirm or deny, and then
So
at
that
that
would-
point, it would revert back to the Board of Adjustment, which is, again, a little weird because it's all the same gentleman anyway. But that
Okay.
would be the second part of the procedural matter. So again, a little confusing, but they haven't, procedurally, they haven't been given the opportunity to apply and have it considered. So that's the question before
Before the Board of Appeals?
Yes,
then?
is
Okay.
can they actually even apply for the variance? And if they can, if you decide they can, then they would go through that process and then bring it back before you. And then, of course, that would give the building official an opportunity to answer any outstanding questions about the permitting process or what was done or what wasn't done. In the end, could it still be denied? Absolutely. But the question before you is whether they can actually even apply for it.
Okay.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
So when the building was put up, you said 7 years ago,
Yeah, I believe so.
is there any record of a building permit? I mean, did you,
I don't remember doing that.
okay, Blaine?
I didn't know if the county needed it.
Okay,
There's nothing on file.
nothing on file. 7 years ago, was the city responsible for the county permitting?
I don't
Because I know
believe,
there was a gap, but I don't think it was that long. I think the city was
No.
doing the permitting for the county 7 years ago.
it would definitely be documented if we were doing that stuff.
This isn't a case where Mr. Krebs came, asked for a permit, was denied, and built it anyway? That's
No.
what I'm getting at. That's what my question is that, is this, I just want to make sure that this isn't, someone isn't trying to go around the back.
Right.
I think if, according to Mrs. Winko, we could get that answer. If we made a decision to allow them to appeal to the other board, we might be able to get that answer at the other board,
Okay.
I believe.
Absolutely. If that is something that you want to ask or require, I mean, obviously the applicants are here, they understand that that's information that this board is going to want, then for certain you could make that a part of the requirement process. And again, it would be a situation where, and want to make it clear for the applicant too, is that the variance, even if this board decided that you could apply for the variance, you could still ultimately end up being denied at the Board of Adjustment. So this is just step one of a two-step process.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I make a motion to accept the appeal.
Motion by Bruce to accept the appeal to advance to the Board of Adjustments. Is that what we're doing?
Correct, yes, that the applicant has the permission to apply for a variance with the Board of Adjustment.
Okay.
I'll second.
Second by Sean. Any further discussion?
So where do we go to do this?
My recommendation would be working with building official Mr. Schwint as well as Mr. Dukart, and you've submitted a lot of the information already. The additional information that the board is going to want to see is what, if any, permits were requested when the structure was initially put up, any additional information that you can provide with regard to the structure itself, and then that information would be submitted to the building department, the building official, and then it would come back in front of the Board of Adjustments to consider the request for the variance at that time with the information that you've already submitted plus the additional information that may be requested of you.
Okay.
Anything further? Okay. Any further comments or? Okay. Bruce,
Aye.
Sean,
Aye.
Trevor,
Aye.
Pat,
Aye.
and I'll vote aye. Thanks for coming. We'll see you at the Board of Adjustment.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Anything else on Board of Appeals? Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
So moved by Bruce, second by Trevor. We are adjourned. Thank you, everyone. Thanks for coming.